uh, you know areas of our life. Let it be we are emailing, we are doing online shopping, we are, you know even students are studying online, businesses, and even right now we are using this platform, that is, we are using internet via for our uh, information sharing and these kind of workshops and activities. So all in all, internet, it is really very important to our entire, activities, various activities in our life. So, the agenda of this session is Internet fundamentals, information security, and its basics, along with the analysis of threat and intelligence, difference between information technology and information and network security, along with cyber security, and various policies and precautions that we should take for information security. Right. So let's begin with this entire setup in order to have our, this enlightening session about internet and information security. Okay. So in this entire session, we'll be discussing about how internet works, right? Just basic glimpse of like what exactly uh, are the protocols which internet follows to function. Along with that, we will see how attackers attack the vulnerabilities or weaknesses present in the system that we are using. Okay, and then we will follow up with the information security problems and issues. Okay, so let's start with internet first. So before you can understand what internet is, we must need to know that what network is, right? Network is basically when multiple computers connect to each other and they communicate with each other. Okay, so these are controlled with one entity, and their connection is done with the help of router. I would say that router act as a connector that which help in connecting various networks together. So you can say network basically is the basic entity of internet, right? So you can say, if we say about there is a network of networks, then that makes an internet, right? So it is the largest network in the world that connect the hundreds and thousands of individual networks all over the world, right? And this network is of various types. One is LAN, that is local area network, then MAN, metropolitan area network, and then is WAN, that is wide area network, right? This network, which is called internet, is provided, that service is provided by internet service provider. Okay, so internet service provider is a body, or you can say it is a commercial organization that gives the temporary connections to the subscriber, right? It sells basically, right? And the examples of various ISPs from where we get our internet service is Prodigy, America Online, Microsoft Networks, AT&T Networks, and many small sellers also, right? So basically, when we magnify the types of network, then we get to know about like how it communicates, right? Like if we talk about LAN, that is local area network, wherein the smaller part of the communication takes place. You can say small diameter is or small distance is involved in it. If we talk about the communication between the network and the with the help of network and internet, it would be having one computer at the sender side, another computer at the receiving side, right? First of all, let's discuss how the communication takes place with the help of internet, right? So sender side computer sends digital signal. Okay, it sends digital signals, and with the help of modem, it converts your digital signals into the analog signals. And with the help of ISP, we got the internet, right? Obviously, that device need to be connected to the internet only can communicate, right? So, with the help of ISP, this sender side computer is having connection to internet. Then again, it will send the message to the receiving side, and the same procedure is followed at the receiving side computer also. And ultimately, it gets the message which is sent by the sender computer and is received at the receiving end, right? So you saw that how this internet actually works, okay? But behind that, might have seen that this message or this email, any kind of communication is just done in just a blink of eye, right? So how fast it is. The reason behind its fast communication and fast, transfer of messages or packets is the various protocols which works behind it. That is the entire suite of protocols, right? So when we talk about LAN, MAN, and WAN, then LAN is basically the connection of various computers. Okay, my voice is low. Now is it okay?
Yeah, I think now it is fine, ma.
Okay, so thanks for your feedback. So basically, when we talk about these all like LAN, MAN, and WAN, then LAN is like local area network wherein small distance. For example, you can say an organization, we are having some labs, let's say 10 labs, and in every lab, we are having 10 computers, let's say. Right, and each one of them is connected to each other. They can communicate to each other, right? Without internet, then that makes a LAN. Its basic major constraint is its distance only, right? But if we talk about that we are working on WAN or MAN, then MAN is a metropolitan area network. The name itself suggests that we are talking about a city, right? Wherein various organizations, various schools, various hospitals are connected to each other, right? And they make a bigger, you can say, network in comparison to LAN. Or you can, in other words, you can also say that various LANs are connected to each other to make MAN, right? Similarly, if we talk about WAN, that is wide area network, wherein the entire network of country or continent is connected together. Okay, so this is wide area network wherein the distance, the constraint which was earlier seen in LAN and MAN is, eliminated using WAN, right? So similarly, when we connect these small networks together, we got a larger network which is known as internet. Okay, I hope it is clear to all of you. Let's move further. So when we say that we are communicating like this here in this picture, the sender computer was uh, communicating to the receiver computer. So how they are communicating to each other? We know that it is basically the IP address with which we can communicate to each other. Like in earlier days, we used to post letters and we definitely have to mention the address. Similarly, here in computer, in internet also, we need to have that IP address of the receiver side, which we need to mention while sending any kind of message or any kind of communication or making any kind of connection, right? So this IP address basically means, IP means internet protocol. Okay, so this internet protocol address is the address which is unique in nature. Like each one of the computer which is connected to that network might be having an IP address, and this IP is 32-bit number. Okay, in layman language, I would say that you can see an example of it. This kind of IP address is there wherein four numbers are there which are separated with three dots. Okay, so in technical language, we can say that these are four binary octets. Okay, so these four binary octets are actually the various classes or notations which are binded together to make one IP address. Not only this, there is a subnet mask also that allocates the computer's location, that locates it. Okay, like where that particular computer or where that particular device is in the network, right? So that marks the subnet mask, and default gateway, it provides access to the wider network. Okay, moreover, this IP address is either statically or dynamically configured, right? By statically, we mean that manually we enter it, like in when we go to the settings of the network settings, and then we configure this IP. And if we talk about dynamically configuring, the best example for that is, like for example, we are moving from one city to the another city, and we are having internet connection in our, let it be in our laptop, and that internet is being catched by that particular device. Even when we are moving, it is dynamically configuring its IP using DHCP, that is dynamic host configuration protocol. Okay, so this protocol automatically configures the IP. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now, till now, whatever we were using was IPv4, that is Internet Protocol version 4, and we were having 2 raised to power 32 bits address available, that is about 4 billion addresses. But now, as you know, we all know we are going through the pandemic situation wherein the user base of internet has boomed, no? So we are gradually switching to the 128-bit addressing, which is also known as IPv6. Okay, that is Internet Protocol version 6. So it can be written as 8 groups of hexadecimal quadrats. Like in earlier version, like the present version which we are using is IPv4, having four numbers which are separated with dots. Here it would be 8 numbers which would be separated with dots. Okay, so the user base which is increasing would be accommodated with this. Okay, so as we all know that this internet, we already discussed that it works on the basis of few protocols, right? We noted that the IP addresses also, they work on, they are configured as per DHCP, that is dynamic host configuration protocol. Similarly, another important protocol is HTTP, right? This HTTP protocol is hypertext transfer protocol, right? It is very simple and extensible. And here in this picture over at the right side, you can see there are huge lot of IP protocols which are used, right? User datagram protocol, DNS, TCP, transmission control protocol, TLS, right? Similarly, HTTP, right? So, among all these, they all play their own role. Okay, we will not go into that technical depth, but for now, HTTP is the one which we all use and which we all see in our screen, on our screen, whenever we go to the Google or go or visit our browser, we see that on our URL there is HTTP, and then the name of the website is there, right? What this HTTP is actually? HTTP basically is a stateless protocol which helps to transfer request and response. Okay, so this TCP and HTTP, they work on the request and response basis. Like here we are having a browser, we send some request, let's say www.google.com. Okay, we request for this particular page, Google page. This request is uh, sent via network, and then it gets received to the server. We all know that internet works on the client and server architecture. Okay, so this is the client and this is the server. Server is the one which will deliver you the response back, like whatever this client has requested, is it actually found and is sent back or not. Okay, so it works on the request response basis. So similarly, whenever we access the browser over here from the client side, we always request in the form of URL. Okay, so URL is Uniform Resource Locator. This is URL. Okay, URL is having a protocol which we were talking about, HTTP. Here you can relate it with this example. Okay, so the protocol which we are talking about, it is HTTP, or these days HTTPS is also used. I'll tell you why. Okay, then we have host name and port number. Okay, here we are having the host name, like the example which I gave you was www.google.com. That is the host name, and port number is also there. And then along with that, there's a path and the file name. Like path and the file name means like maybe the information that we are looking for is present in the folder which is having n number of files, let's say. So I have to mention the file name also, and what particular you can say identifier or variable or the knowledge or the information that I want, that also I have to mention. So when I also mention this thing, this query is also added with the entire file and path name, that is the resource name. This query is also there. Then it becomes the URI, that is Uniform Resource Identifier. Okay. Therein we also have this parameter name, whatever value we want to access, and it is more of detailed URL. So you can say, for example, URL is a wider range, and out of that, URI is a smaller part, which is a subset of URL. Okay, so I hope the difference between URL and URI is also clear. So in URL, we focus on like which path and which file name or which folder name we need to access information from. And URI is the exact, you can say, the exact parameter on which we want to, for which we want to fetch the value of. Okay. So it is more detailed in comparison to URL. So this is another example of URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator. You can see it. Okay. Next, we move further about having the deeper understanding of how HTTP protocol work. Till now, we have just discussed about that there is some request message and there is some response message, but how exactly it occurs, right? Now here you can see this is a client and this is a server, right? Now the client will send, the user is a client, it will issue URL from the browser. Now in browser, in his browser, he is sending like I want this so and so page, okay, and put enter over it. When it press enter, this browser sends the request message to the server. Now request message is something like this. Okay, we will not go into the technical detail again. Just having a glimpse of it. It includes the get method, which informs the browser, which informs the server that some information is to be brought from the server to the browser. Okay, then further the URL is mentioned in the request along with the protocol and its version. Okay, and many other supporting information is also mentioned. They are also mentioned into this request message. Now once this request message reach the server after traveling through internet, it now server check whether this particular URL or a particular file or a program or a document or a folder is present with this server or not. Okay, like for example, we requested for www.google.com. So this server will check that whether this google.com page is present with me or not. If it is present with him, then it will return back the response message this that okay, via HTTP protocol and 1.1 version, I am sending you 200. This 200 means this is a status code which says that okay, this particular request which you were asking for is fulfilled now, and I'm sending it the response message, and you will get on the on your browser you will get displayed that particular page which you were asking for. Okay, so this entire you know uh, communication, the entire request and response message is shared between the client and the server, and then you get your page, whatever you want to see is in front of your eyes in the browser. Okay, so you see so many steps are there, but still we find it in just fractions of second. It's in front of our eyes. So this fast is this protocol. Okay, but even though this protocol works very well, it has a drawback, or you can say it has a disadvantage, which is filled by HTTPS. And this disadvantage is like whatever communication is being done between the client and the server, that is the request and the response, they communicate with each other continuously. This was sent in the clear text format, which any person who is sitting on the third person, you can say some attacker or some intruder is there, he can easily read or listen to it. He can make changes in this request, he can make changes in this response, for which it has some security issues. Okay, so for this reason, another protocol, that is HTTPS, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, which is a secure version of HTTP, comes into the picture. And here in this graph, you can see, although this graph is a bit older one, but the figures shows that the HTTPS based websites are increasing, as well as HTTP protocol based websites are decreasing in number. Until now, most of the websites are hosted on HTTPS protocol. Okay, so this is how you have seen till now, like how internet works, how internet is made, what are the various types and forms of network. Okay, Then further, how internet is so fast, why it is so fast, what are the various protocols that function behind it to make it fast. Now let's have a magnified look, like what server side system looks like. And now, till now, we are clear that the client and the server are communicating with each other, right? This we all know till now. And client is sending request and server is sending response. Okay. Now what happens at the server side? Where exactly these pages which we like request are stored? Okay. So server side system is not just a single server who is, you know, who knows everything and who is storing everything. It's not like that. Okay. So here we are having a web server, various web servers, I would say. There are many web servers. Okay. Then further they are connected to various web application servers. Now these application servers are the servers wherein our websites are hosted, those products, those projects are deployed, those softwares are there on the web application server. Okay. So you can say web servers just is a manager, and web application server are actually where the applications or websites are hosted. Okay. And the data which is stored in these application is then further connected to database servers. So it is not a one machine game or one device game. There are huge data centers which are involved into it. These websites are actually hosted into various data centers, which are, you can say, fields of servers wherein the data and the information is stored and deployed. Okay, then these applications further communicate to the databases wherein our username, our password, and other details and other pictures that we upload are stored. So, in like here, like in this picture, you can see, so each and every data is processed in the database and is managed by the web application, and further it is responded by the web servers. Okay. So this is how the internet communication functions. So further, if we see about, like, this information is processed at the like internet, right? So what actually the information is? Information is basically when we club data together into some meaning, and it has some meaningful meaning attached to it, then it becomes information. And this meaningful information or meaningful data is important to us. Okay. So when we talk about that we are accessing some application or we are accessing some website, it is actually what we are we are having transaction of information between the client and the server, right? Actually, in reality, via browser, we are communicating with the server to fetch the information only, right? So how it occurs, like here some user is there who is submitting some online cart order on its website, and it is communicating to the that particular company wherein there are various web servers there. Okay. And many web application servers also. Now these web servers are like guards, like security guards. Okay. If this particular user is authenticated to get into this website, only then it will be allowed. So you see, whenever we like whenever we communicate or whenever we log in, okay, we they ask our username and password. So if that username and password, those are credentials, if they are like matching with the ones which are stored on these web servers, only then they allow us to visit that website. Otherwise we are denied to visit it. Okay. So it stops us to get access to these web application servers, to get access to the website, if our credentials are not right or we are not authenticated to use or to access it. Okay. It will stop us here also, and hence we will not be able to get the information which is stored in these databases or database servers. Okay. So I hope the picture is clearer now, like how actually everything occurs. Now when the attacker come into the picture, let's say the same scenario, in place of the user, some hacker is there or some attacker is there. He has, by hook or crook, by doing some, you know, some hacking. He has stolen the username and password of a genuine authenticated user, and now he's portraying himself as a genuine user and getting connection to that company's website. He will be able to get into the web server also, because he's stolen the credentials. Then he will also be having the access to these web application server, because now he can access the website and hence the database also. So by using other hacking technologies, he can deface the database servers and database, and hence he can also you know deface this or hack this website. Okay, so he can also retrieve your credit card details and make transactions. So he can make any kind of harm to you. So you see, the information actually is being stolen. Okay, it is being stolen, and the attacker is actually working upon the information only. So we need to secure this information, we need to protect this information so that something wrong doesn't happen. Okay, now here the credit card details are retrieved. Okay, so he might have access to the web application server and hence to the database, and by some methods, by putting SQL injection or some SQL commands, he might have get got access to all the credit card details of various customers which are having transaction on this particular website. Okay, and he can now make transaction to them because he knows his details, its PIN number also. Okay, so in this way attackers attack. Okay, so till now we know what are the various flaws where we need protection and to what thing we need protection. Okay, so similarly, the various kinds of attack which attacker perform are malware attack. Malware attack are the malicious softwares wherein these malwares are installed on our system, on the systems of users without their permission, without their knowledge. They even don't know that some malware is installed in it, right? And either they, you know, your system starts malfunctioning, right? It becomes very slow, or it also communicate like what are the various files which are present in your system to the attacker. Okay, similarly the next is the phishing attack. Phishing attack is basically email oriented attack wherein you are you receive an email wherein it looks like that email is from very authentic sender, like maybe from a bank, and they ask you to change your PIN number, and the moment you change your PIN number, your account is hacked. Okay, so this is a kind of phishing attack wherein you are phished by the attacker. Okay, the next one is the password attack, wherein this hacker it guesses your password or by hit and trial method manually, and not only manually but the various technologies or various algorithms are there. One is brute force algorithm, wherein the passwords are guessed or they are hit and trialed on the basis of those algorithms in order to crack that password. Okay, and once the password is cracked, uh, the attacker can get access to your account. Okay, it can be any critical account, any sensitive account, maybe your banking account, maybe some other your social media account. Okay, wherein he can make any kind of your reputation can be lost. Okay, the next one is DDoS attack, which is distributed denial of service. Now, distributed denial of service is like, for example, there is a server, and this server, we know that in a normal day to day life, we perform request and responses got by the server, right? But what if this server is loaded, it is overloaded with so many requests that at a time that it stops giving any response. Okay, so this kind of attack is known as DDoS attack, wherein a server is overloaded, is overburdened with millions of instructions, millions of requests at a time, and it stop giving response back to those requests. Okay, so initially it tries to give response to each and every request, but later it denies to give request because it's millions of it, and this is called DDoS attack. Okay, Then further we have man in the middle attack. This attack we discussed while discussing HTTP and HTTPS, wherein the third person, that is the attacker, he is listening or making some kind of changes uh, in the communication done between the client and the server. Okay, so if the message being sent between the sender and the receiver is not, integrated, it is being modified, it is not in the same format which it was sent, then that particular kind of attack is called man in the middle attack. It is being changed, or it is being, polluted by the person in the middle, right? Then further we have drive by download. Drive by download is another very significant attack which we, as a layman, as an unaware user, we fall into this trap. These are basically the traps which are, set by the attacker. Like whenever we download something, some files automatically get downloaded. Like there are files like viruses, various viruses like rat, that is a remote access trojan. Okay, so this remote access trojan is, definitely is a kind of rat. Whenever we download some authenticated file, there is some hidden file along with that, which is usually called rat. It gets download to our system and then get installed automatically, and hence it forms a remote access trojan. Its name itself denotes that it gives remote access to the attacker of our system. Okay, so this is just one example which I'm giving you about drive-by downloads. There are n number of, viruses and worms which are downloaded. There can be some water hole, okay, wherein the users fall into the wrong websites, or maladvertising is there. So maladvertising is another kind of attack. Okay, so in this, as the name suggests, there will be some malicious advertisement. Okay, the link which will be present on some authentic website will look like that this particular link is very authentic, and user will be, it he will crave to get into that particular link. But once the user click into that link, it will land him into some very malicious website, wherein there will be various malwares or viruses will be there. Okay, so maladvertising is like showing something malicious. Okay, further, the last one which we are going to discuss is the rogue software. Now this rogue software, is like the name suggests, this is any software which is rogue in nature. That is, it is being, controlled by someone remotely. That might be attacker also. Okay, so some attacker is using this software, but this software is installed in your system. Okay, in order to get access to your system. So this is another kind of attack. So now when we know that what are the various, like functionalities of internet, what is the actual glimpse or the communication method of internet, we know what are the various attacks also. Now what these attacks are, why these attacks are happening, and what problem they are causing to us, and what kind of protection we need. We all know this, we have already discussed about this. So we need protection from unauthorized modification. That is, there should not be any kind of modification in the communication which is being happening, right? There must not be any kind of deletion without our knowledge. Okay, similarly, no unauthorized access should be allowed to that information. So you see, the unauthorized access and unauthorized modification and deletion are the things from which we need to be protected. So how we do it, that we will do that by ensuring that our information is secure or not. Once our information security is there, all these three things cannot cause harm to us. Okay, these three things should not be possible if our information is secure. And how this information will be secure? It will be secured with the preservation of CIA triad. CIA triad means confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information. So once these three things are there, our information will go nowhere. Okay, So basically, information, if we talk about, it is an asset, okay, which has value to the organization, and consequently, it needs to be suitably protected. Okay, so when once we know that this information needs to be protected, that means information security is the process of protecting this information, or which is the intellectual property of the organization. So, when the protection of information is there, it minimizes the risk of exposing information to the unauthorized party. And by exposing information, we mean the confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of that information is preserved. Okay, so we need to focus on these three verticals, and if we, protect or preserve our information, if we want to preserve our information, we need to preserve confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information. We'll see how it happens. So you see, these three are the heart of information security, and so is our basic objectives. Okay, so we see that how these three pillars are attacked by the attacker. Okay, in order to deteriorate the information security, these three pillars are attacked by the attacker. Like if we talk about confidentiality pillar, then confidentiality, they attack it by cracking the encrypted data. Now we have started using HTTPS, that is a secure protocol which encrypts every communication which was earlier sent in clear text format. Now they can crack the encrypted data also in order to get the information, in order to unlock this confidentiality of the information. Okay, another method is man in the middle attack, like by session hijacking or by session a replay attack. Okay, these kind of session mismanagement attack, they happen to attack the text, they happen to attack the communication between the client and server. Along with that, they can even make unauthorized copy of the sensitive data. That is also called data leakage. Okay. This can also be attacked by installing the spyware or malware on the server. Okay, I hope everything is clear to you, like you are getting to know what actually is happening. So, confidentiality is being attacked by the attacker by these various kinds, these various methods. Okay, similarly, integrity. Integrity is attacked by web penetration or malware insertion, and then maliciously forging the records. Then, by integrity, we mean that whatever message is being sent, it is sent like that only. It no change, no modification has been done, no updation is done. Okay, no reading is done. So when we talk about unauthorized database scan, then their entire database is scanned. And once the entire database scan is there, maybe that database carries the information of transaction information of credit card details. And if that is scanned, that means the PIN numbers along with the data, credit card details is also scanned. And again, this is a big harm. Okay, big attack. Then remotely controlling the zombie systems. It is like remotely someone else is controlling your system, then we call it as a zombie system. Okay, further in availability, and the various attacks are DDoS attacks, which we discussed. There can be some ransomware attack wherein your own information is kept in lock and you are asked for ransom to access your own information. That is a ransomware attack. Okay, then further is deliberately disrupting the server room's power supply or flooding your server with so many requests that it denies to give any kind of response back. So these are the various type of attack which are done to the availability of the information. So you see, this information security is so important in order to preserve the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Because if it is not there, the availability of business will not be there. Okay, so in order to ensure that the business is available to us, we need to ensure that our information is secure. Okay, then further we need to protect the data and its information system, and if it is not like that, then our brand and reputation both will be lost. Okay, then further, it also lead to the increased productivity and high level of assurance, because once you are having your information secure, only then you can say that okay, the information of my clients is secure with me. Otherwise people would not trust you, and if people don't trust you, they will not make business with you. Okay. Then next is competitive advantage. That is also one of the major reason why we need information security, because today the competition has increased, and everyone wants to leak someone other's password or secrets. Okay, so this will also help in business continuity and disaster recovery as well. So these are the reasons why we need information security. Okay, then if we talk about IT security, then IT security is basically also known as computer security. Now, in computer security, what happens is like IT specialist is there who keep record of all your technology updations, all your system updations in order to secure your company or organization from the malicious cyber attack. Okay, so it allows the security of the company to get enhanced, and hence it keeps away all the breaches that happens to get the critical private information also, or to gain control on the internal system. It keep all these attacks away. So this is the task of IT security or computer security. So now it is time to fix all these vulnerabilities that we have discussed till now, all the attacks that we have discussed till now. So first we need to identify that where is that weakness. Okay, then we will see, once we have identified that weakness, whether this weakness is in the website, or this weakness lies in the your network, or in the browser, or in your operating system, or wherever this weakness is, this vulnerability is, we need to identify first. Like for example, when the human body is not working well, it is not fine, then we first diagnose what kind of problem that body is having, right? Only then, after evaluating, after diagnosis, we treat it. Similarly is here, we first identify the weakness, then we analyze and evaluate that weakness, that what kind of risk is there, what loss can be found, what loss can we face, and only then we treat it. Okay, at the end. And so it is the time to fix these vulnerabilities. And what actually the vulnerabilities are? Vulnerability basically are the weaknesses, as I told you. Weaknesses in asset can be anything. It can be your website, it can be your network, it can be your browser. Okay, so this weakness which is present in entire system can be exploited by the attacker. Okay, so we need to work on it, like how this weakness can be fixed, and which can be misused by the attacker, okay, to harm the integrity, confidentiality, and availability of the information. Okay, so next thing is, if the vulnerability or the weakness is found, we can assure, we can protect our asset from the threat. Now, threat is what? It is any event that has potential to bring harm to the organization. Okay, so it is a kind of attack which is executed truly, which is executed successfully. Okay. Similarly, if this threat is executed on these vulnerabilities of an asset, there will always be a risk. Okay, risk means there will be a loss. Okay, so a risk refers to the potential for the loss or damage when threat exploits the vulnerability. Okay, it is like risk is equals to threat into a vulnerability. So whenever there is a vulnerability, there are definitely high chances of having attack, and that too a successful attack called threat. And definitely, if there is an attack, there is a threat, it will definitely cause some loss or damage to the system. Okay, so in order to make you more clear in this picture of attack, there are few security issues that we are going to discuss, which we discuss theoretically, like confidentiality, integrity, and reliability. Okay, so first of all, there is a normal flow. You can see here, there is a you can say sender and a receiver, which is having communication, and both of them are very happy to make this communication. Now, further, what happens is a third person comes into the picture, that is, interruption comes in. Okay, there is some attacker who is stopping the message to be sent to by the sender to the receiver, and now both are unhappy. There is a security issue. Okay, when your message being sent is not delivered at the end, you are actually having interruption in it. Then further, the message that you were sending is received not by the receiver, but attacker has made some modifications in it, and then he has sent it to the receiver. That means again a third person comes in, and hence the modification is there. Okay, now next, in the next picture, you see, in the next case, there is an interception. That means the attacker is not interrupting in between, he's not modifying the message being sent, he's just listening to it. That means it is no longer, secret between you and the sender and the receiver. Okay, so your again, the information is not secure because the danger comes in. Okay, and further, in the next case, we have that the sender has not sent that message. It is being fabricated or made by the attacker only, and he is himself becoming the sender. He is pretending himself as a sender, and he is fabricating the message and sending to the receiver. Again, it is a security issue. Then further, we have that the sender and the receiver lost reliability on each other, which says that the sender says, "Have you got the message which I have sent?" And the receiver says, "No, I have not got that message." And or you can say the sender receiver is asking whether you have sent the message, and the sender is saying, "No, I have not sent the message." So means reputation is lost, or you can say reliability between the sender and the receiver is lost because of the intervention of this attacker all the time. Okay, so if there is interruption in the system here in the first case, okay, if there is interruption in the communication, then that means the availability is lost. Okay, whenever there is interruption, that means we cannot communicate further, then our availability is lost. If there is some modification in the system like this here, where third person is modifying the data or information, when information is modified, that means integrity is lost. Okay, again, a problem, a security problem. Then if interception is there, that is, the message is listened or copied by someone else, then our confidentiality is lost. Okay, it is no more confidential now. Okay, similarly, if there is some fabrication of the message or the communication, then authenticity is lost. And similarly, if there is a loss in the reliability or reputation, then it is non-reputation, that is non-reliable. Okay, so these all things we need to preserve them, and we need to work upon these security issues. Only then our happy and normal flow of communication can be possible. Okay, so till now we have seen the evolution and unexpected success in the technology, right? In 1990s we were having just basic connectivity, and in 2000s we have application online content, like web applications were there, websites were there. In 2010s we were cloud was the buzzword. Then in now 2020s we are like IoT, we are into the domain of IoT, that is Internet of Things, right? Wherein we are surrounded with various smart devices, and each device is executing and uh, generating huge lot of data, right? So you see the evolution of technology usage and value is there, right? Similarly, the evolution of security problems is also there, and this evolution should never stop, right? We should also have evolution of solutions as well. Okay, so how do we solve these problems by information security. We can solve these problems by network and information security. When we secure our network, when we secure our information, this problem can be sorted out. And similarly, by cybersecurity as well. Now, cybersecurity means protecting the data and information networks. Okay, it is like we have to protect the user from this harmful online content. Here, the focus is the people and their social well being, and it can be done by authentication and authorization along with the access control. Okay, we need to check, we need to identify the users first before letting them use our information or letting them know our information. And similarly for authorization as well, that the privilege escalation should not be there. Okay, the one who is permitted to use a particular power, only that person should be authorized to use, or to use that resource or to get access to that power. Otherwise, not all should be there. Okay, so we need to have awareness, like what information we are carrying, how important is it, and why we should secure it and how we should secure it. Okay, like whenever we go to some crowded place, we always keep our valuable things to very close and very secure with us. Similar is the manner with information. Okay, we need to also evaluate like what will happen if it goes into the wrong hand, and what protection we should take to protect it. Okay, so there are very common methods to secure ourselves. That is the awareness. Okay, so we should use our common sense before getting into any kind of decision, before clicking anything onto the screen, before entering into any website. Okay, we should have awareness about it. We should regularly update the softwares which we are using in our devices. Let it be your mobile phone, let it be your laptop, or any device which you are using. You should regularly update it. Okay, then you must install any antivirus or anti spyware in order to scan your system or device frequently. Okay, so antivirus and anti spyware is a must. Be careful while file sharing. Okay, whenever you are whenever person to person file sharing is there, that is P2P file sharing, you must be very careful that the another person should not send or should not share any kind of malicious data or software with you. Okay, along with that, you should be very you know careful while downloading things. The resource from where you are downloading, like on your mobile phone, you must download it from your Play Store only. Okay, and similarly from if we talk about on laptops and other devices, it should be from the genuine and authentic websites. Okay, then read the computer messages carefully. Don't just blindly click next, next, next without reading it. Okay, and be very careful while you read the email, especially when it belongs to someone who you don't know. Okay, so unknown sender of the email, you should avoid reading those mails, especially the attachments which are which are attached to it. You should not open or download those attachments as well. Okay, and not only this, you should keep all your passwords safe with you, as well as strong passwords should be there, which is like you should use capital letters, small letters, numerics and alphanumerics and other special characters in order to make your password strong. Only then you can lead to cyber security, cyber ethics, and cyber safety. Okay, so these are the few steps or few precautions that you need to have. If there are any queries, you can ask. Okay, thank you for this session. And you can also drop a mail at currentpreet@cdac.in. I would be happy to respond you. If any queries are there, please write into the chat box so that we can discuss it right now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. And as Sir, ma'am, like on the participants, like if you have any queries, kindly keep it in the chat area so that ma'am will respond to those queries before she leave. Hmm, Presentation.
Any queries?
Any download link for presentation? We will share it with you, Rajit Singh sir. Like we will share it with you by evening. Okay, all those things we will share it. Any queries? What is cloud? What is cloud, madam?
Okay, so cloud actually is a big concept. It is really very important these days. And like, what example should I give you? Um, let's say I want to have a server, okay, and I don't have that much infrastructure with me that I could, even buy a server. So my company requires a server. Okay, what I'll do it now, I will borrow that server, or you can say that whatever is the cost of using that server which belongs to someone else, I will just pay that particular amount. Okay, that server will be hosted somewhere else, obviously to some data center or somewhere. Okay, so there are big cloud bodies like you might have listened to AWS or Amazon's cloud and Edureka. Okay, so these all offer cloud services wherein you can take software as a service, okay, your infrastructure as a service, or you can say your platform as a service. Now if I am today working with Windows, okay, my system is having Windows. I want that my some project is on Linux, and I don't want to download and install that Linux original version. So what I'll do, I will hire that service. Okay, I will hire that service from the cloud wherein all the platform as a service, PaaS, is there. It is a vast, you can say, domain wherein every kind of service is provided to you. You pay as you use. Okay, so this is the basic, I would say, introduction of the cloud, and it is very vast, really. And anything else that you want
Yes,
to
ma'am. What is
ask?
a patch?
Patch. Okay, patch is like we all know that the softwares that we see in our day-to-day life, we install them in our day-to-day life, they are having versions with it, right? Like 1.0 version, 1.1 version, 1.2 version. What these versions means, this means that 1.0 version was having some kind of flaws or some kind of functionality issues which are patched in 1.1, right? That is like 1.1 version is the extension or enhanced version of 1.0. So this is known as patch, the small part, like in your mobile also, in your laptops also, in your operating systems, Windows also. There is a prompt always saying update your operating system, update Windows, update Android, or update any kind of application that you're using. So they are actually updating that particular patch in it so that the version becomes stronger and more secure, and the functionality issues which were found in the earlier version are patched now. They are fixed now. Okay, so this is called patch.
Okay, and one more question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Actually,
What is the question,
what
sir?
is a patch and how check the SQL injections? How to check the SQL injections?
Okay, SQL injections can be checked. Like there are three types of SQL injections, first of all. Okay, so these can be checked, and even nowadays, more and more versions of it are coming. You can use a SQL map tool that can, you have to just put a command over there, and along with that, you need to put the target where you want to have the SQL injection, and you can check it. This is a bit of technical thing. Like I can tell you the command, okay, and even you can take help from this help section. When you'll type SQL dash help, it will list out, it will display the list of commands. Okay, you can capture the response or a request sent by the website into some tool like Burpsuit. Okay, and in that you can put that response, you can put it into the SQL and then SQL map, and then you can pitch a SQL map injection or SQL injection. Okay, so there are various methods for that.
Yes, Aparna sir, like I think that is a bit,
That is a
a
bit
technical thing.
technical thing and demonstrative thing also.
Yes, yes, yes. Because like
Uh,
we should not confuse others like who are coming for these things. But if you want, like you just send a mail to madam as given. Otherwise, you can just send us also. We will get back to you on that part. Not an
yes.
issue. Sir. And
Even I can mail you the details of that, but like explaining like this, I can explain you in the, overall method
yes, yes,
only.
yes.
It can be very briefly explained, but if you want it in details, I can definitely mail you that because
We
it
can, we
got
can.
some syntax and various methodologies are there that you need to work about upon.
Yes, yes, that is a bit technical, sir. To be
Right,
frank, yeah.
right.
Ji, seriously, like, ma'am, like malware details we will discuss in the afternoon, because now we have to go for other things. Password attacks details, please. Password attacks. I think in the next session she is going to cover, ma'am. Don't worry. Okay. Malware we will cover in the afternoon first session, and password attacks, like, ma'am, can you take that password
Yes,
attacks?
yes, definitely, definitely.
Please, please
There
elaborate,
are,
ma'am.
if we talk about password attacks, then these password attacks can be attacked at various forms. That's why I told you to have a strong password. Okay, there can be, first of all, when we talk about attacking password manually, then there would be a password guessing. Okay, right. For example, if we talk about any user who's having any kind of login credentials, if his name is admin, then its password would be either root, or it can be 1234, it can be 12345, or the name of its organization. Okay, so these are the guesses which are done manually, and we try to enter it, and this is called manual password guessing attack. Okay,
Yes,
now what happens it, there are various kinds of algorithms which are present. We might have, if you remember, we might have read permutation and combination in our school times, right? That permutation and combination was like we need to guess a string which is having I would say you might have seen that movie also, that James Bond movie, wherein it cracks the password using some device. Okay, so that is basically, it is making some permutation and combination in order to get a string which matches the password. Okay, so these kind of attacks are known as brute force attack. Okay, there is a tool which is known as Burp Suite. In that tool, you can do intrude, and then you can apply that algorithm, that is brute force algorithm, on a particular string, and it will guess you the with the huge lot list of passwords is there inbuilt into that algorithm, and it will apply each and every password, and the one which successfully gets you in will be, it will crack the password. So in this way, these are the various password attacks. Okay, that is what why it is always said that the password which you are keeping for your account, for any kind of account, it should be very strong, that even permutation and combination should not break it. Okay, because it's very easy. Like if we talk about alphabets, there are only 26 alphabets which can be permutated and combination easily. Similarly, if we talk about digits, there are only 9 numbers, or including zero, there are only 10 numbers which can be easily permuted and combined. Right, so that is why there should be capital letters, small letters, digits, special characters, alphanumerics, so that this combination is hard to guess by the algorithm as well. Okay, so these are the various password attacks.
yeah, I think the last question we will take, ma'am, like what is the 28-bit encryption?
28-bit encryption, by this we mean that if we talk about IP addresses right now, the total number of IP addresses which are present here are 2 raised to power 32. Right, this 32-bit is 2 raised to power 32, means this much number of that is near about 4 billion number of IP addresses exist right now. As we discussed that the user base of internet is increasing. So what next plan is to implement IPv6, that is side by side, definitely it is implemented, right? It is having 128 bit of this 2 raised to the power 128 is there, so that the total number of IP addresses increasing, that is the range of it is increasing. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you now.
Yes, ma'am. Right, right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
I
you so
think,
much, ma'am. Thank
yeah.
you so much, sir. Sorry.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
ma'am, for the wonderful session and clarifying all the doubts from our,
Thank you so much,
participants.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I hope all the queries were cleared, and we will move on to the session. I think now we are delayed, but the session may go beyond this session, like present session, it may go beyond 12:30. If it is okay with all of you, please say yes in the chat area. Please say if the session goes beyond 12:30, like up to 12:40, 12:50, 12:55, the session goes, it is fine. Can you please say yes or no in the chat area? So accordingly, we will plan the session. We don't want to trouble you, but if you all say yes, then we will, no, madam will continue. Okay, thank you so much. Yes. So the next session we are going to have the data protection, online security, and browser security. These mobile security aspects, madam is going to discuss on those aspects. So for taking this session, we have with us Kajal Kashyapa. She is from SIDAC Noida, and she also had the similar experiences like what I told to Karanpreet ma'am. She is also, doing a lot of government official training program, and she is also, into the cyber security field from last 6+ years or so. All right, cyber security domain, but otherwise she is having a good experience, right? She has, you can ask any doubts related to these session in the same chat area, so that she will be able to clarify all your doubts also. Right, so with this brief introduction, I request Kajal Kashyap to start this session on this data protection and password security kind of thing. Thank you, ma'am, for joining and
Thank you so
in
much,
this
sir.
session. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, once again. A very good morning to all the respected participants who are present here. So, in this particular session, we are going to talk about the importance of data protection and online security. And we will get to know that how we can protect our data. And nowadays, a lot of attacks are going on. So, we will also, learn that how we can protect ourselves from these kind of internet threats. So, let's start with the very basic term, that is how much of internet users are there in India. So as you can see here, we have a lot of numbers of internet users in India by this 2022. So let's say we have 840 million internet users currently right now in India, and in which 70% are doing e-commerce transactions from their mobile phones, as the mobile phones are easy to carry, and it is very convenient to do all the transactions and all the stuff because mobile phones are handy. So mostly 70% of people are doing their e-commerce transactions via their mobile phones. Next, we have 50% of travel transactions are online, and then 175 million online shoppers are here, and 2.2 billion mobile connections we can say are there, and 448 million social media users are here. So you can see a lot of users of internet are here in India by this particular year. Next is we have recently seen some attacks in these famous organizations. So we have seen a lot of data breaches. Let's say there were a breach related to Domino's India in the month of April 2021, where data related to 18 crore order placed with Domino's India. And when this particular breach happened, the customer name, email address, mobile numbers, number of orders, what is the amount they had spent, and what is their GPS location. So these were all breached. And there were one company which is Upstocks, where the KYC data of 25 lakh Upstock customers were breached, which basically includes their name, their mobile number, their email IDs, their PAN details, their Aadhaar card details, and their bank account numbers. And then on the third number, we have MobiQuick, which was happened on March 2021, where data of 10 crore Indian MobiQuick users were breached. Um, Basically, this consists of their KYC details, their passport details, their email ID details, their phone number details, and Aadhaar card details. Similarly, one data breach happened with Facebook in the month of April 2021, where data of 60 lakh Indian Facebook users were breached, and it consists of their phone numbers, their Facebook IDs, their locations, their past locations which they have visited, their birth date, their email, their relationship status. And then the data uh, breach happened with Air India in the month of February in the year of 2021. So as per Air India, data of 45 lakh customers globally was leaked, which basically consists of their name, date of birth, their contact information, passport, their ticket address, basically information related to their tickets, and information related to credit card data. And next, we have seen data breached in Big Basket, which we mostly prefer to order like groceries. So, Big Basket data breach was happened in November 2020. So, where data of 2 crore plus Indian Big Basket users were breached, which basically consists of their email addresses, names, their birth dates, their phone numbers, their IP addresses, and their passwords. So these were the attacks that we have recently seen in the past few years. Next, talking about securing ourselves, our data, it is really much essential for all of us to understand that what actually is cybercrime, and how this cybercrime is actually impacting us, and how this is actually stealing our data, stealing our information. So let's see what actually is cybercrime. So, cybercrime is a criminal activity that will target your device. So, whatever the devices you are using, whether it is a network, whether it is mobile phone, whether it is a laptop, whether it is your desktop. So, whatever the device you are having, the main uh, basically goal of performing this cybercrime is to steal all of your data which is present in your electronic devices. So here, those who are performing these kind of cyber crimes, we call it hackers. So hackers will basically use different types of tools in order to perform the attack. And once they attack on your device, they can easily steal all of your data which is present in your device. It can be your images, it can be your videos, it can be any important information. So here, a major attack vector of cybercrime is to exploit broken software. Now, I would request to all the participants to just concentrate on this particular term, that is broken software. So, what actually is broken software? So, whenever we basically don't take care of our softwares, or we can say whenever we do not regularly update our softwares, so in a particular period of time they become weak, right? So they become weak and they become broke. So they are easy to exploit, or in simple term I can say they are easy to hack. So here the main motive of all the hackers is to search for these kind of softwares. Firstly, they search for these kind of people who do not regularly update their softwares. They do not regularly update their hardwares and all of the stuff. So they just find those kind of people, and once they find, they try to attack on their devices. And if they are using these kind of broken softwares, easily they can, um hack their softwares. So here we can say that uh, from the particular cyber crime, we have these three terms coming on, that is vulnerability, threat, and risk. So we have already covered these terms in the first session, but let's quickly see these terms once again. So basically, if I say what is vulnerability, then vulnerability is basically simple weaknesses that is present in your hardwares and softwares. So whenever you are not updating your hardwares and softwares, they become weak and they become easy to exploit. So this is actually a vulnerability. So there are different kind of vulnerabilities present in your softwares. And if I talk about threat, so basically threat exploit a vulnerability and can damage or destroy an asset. So this can be a very, big thing if a threat can exploit a vulnerability. And talking about a risk, so risk refers to the potential for lost, damaged, and destroyed assets. So whatever the lost is already done, whatever the damage is done, it refers to all the risk. Let's move on to the next slide. Here what we are seeing, threads in common applications that we are using on daily basis. So most of us are dependent on our mobile phones for our day-to-day work. So we are using a lot of applications in our mobile phones, right? So we are actually not thinking that what can be the disadvantage of basically using these applications. This is true that these applications are providing us a lot of advantages. This is providing us a lot of opportunities, but we shall not forget that there are some disadvantages of using these applications also. So in our mobile phones, we mostly are using online taxi applications, for booking taxis from going one place to another, because this is very convenient. And we are using education applications, we are using banking applications, we are using shopping applications for applying jobs and all of the stuff. We are using job portals, different job portals, and we provide our details there so that we get selected easily. And then we have some chatting and instant messaging applications, and then hotel and travel booking applications, and then online gaming applications. So mostly people are using these applications in their daily regular life. So what happens is when you download these applications, first they ask you to register in these applications. Right, and in the registration part, you have to provide your personal information like your name, your email address, your mobile number, and sometimes when the application is paid, then you have to provide your mode of payment. Like if you are paying through debit card, you have to give their debit card your debit card details to that applications. If you are using credit card, you have to provide your credit card details to that particular applications. If you are using any other mode of payment, you have to provide that details in these applications in a similar way. So what can happen is, what is the basically chances of basically one day these application can be hacked anytime or can be breached. Whatever the data is present there can be breached anytime. So this can happen. So what we have to do, we don't basically do not download a lot of applications in your mobile phones. Just download limited applications in your mobile phones, which basically are of your uses. And second thing is, um, if you are a Android user, straightly go to the Play Store and download the applications from there itself. Please try to ignore downloading any applications from any sort of links or any sort of websites, because we can never basically rely on these sort of links and websites. We cannot trust these sort of links and websites. Sometimes we also receive some links on our social media applications like WhatsApp, and it asks, basically some people send links to download the applications to other people, And once we click on those links, any application will be downloaded in our mobile phone. But what is the chance of, what it basically, how we can say that this particular application is safe, right? So do not download any sort of applications from any sort of websites or any sort of third party links. So you have to go to straightly to your Play Store if you are Android user, and download all the applications from there itself. And before downloading any sort of applications, you need to check the reviews and the rating of that application. Then only just download the applications. Plus, do not download a lot of applications. Just download the apps which you basically require in your day-to-day life. And then third thing you have to do is you have to regularly update your applications which is present in your mobile phones. And if you are iOS user, you have to go to the App Store and download the applications from there itself. Do not download any sort of applications from the links and the softwares, sorry, websites. Okay, let's move on to next one. Here, let's see what actually is cybersecurity. Now we have talked about cybercrime and the mostly threats of internet. Let's see what actually is cybersecurity and how we can protect ourselves. So cybersecurity can be described as the collective methods, technologies, and processes to help protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of your computer system, your network, your data against any kind of cyber attacks or any kind of unauthorized access. So you don't want that any third person will come and see your data, right? So it is really much essential for all of us to protect our data, to protect whatever the information we have. So this is the work of cybersecurity. It will protect your data, your network against any kind of cyber attacks or any kind of unauthorized access. Here we can say the main purpose of cybersecurity is to protect all your organizational data, or we can say all your organizational assets from both external as well as internal threats, as well as disruption caused due to any sort of natural disasters. So this is the work of cybersecurity. And here you can see in this particular slide that as the internet users are increasing day by day, security threats are also increasing day by day. So it is our work, it is our duty to protect our data as the threats is increasingly day by day, and we are in danger day by day. So here you can see one more term here, that a major part of cybersecurity is to fix broken software. Now what we have seen in the previous slide of cybercrime, that a major part of cybercrime is to exploit those broken software. Now here comes the work of cybersecurity and the cyber experts. They become basically they what cyber experts are doing. Cyber experts are searching for these kind of broken softwares which have a lot of vulnerabilities. And once they find those software, they will try to fix those software so that no attacker will come and exploit that software. So this is all in all the work of cybersecurity and cyber experts. Here, this is actually, if we are talking about cybersecurity, let me just make it big. Yeah. So, this is actually some components related to cybersecurity whenever we are talking about cybersecurity. Then we need to talk about computer security, online privacy, security padlock. There are surveillance cameras, secure payments, antivirus firewall, mobile security, global security. So all in the components, cybersecurity is playing a major and a big role. Next is what is actually the role, or we can say the main goal of cybersecurity. What actually is cybersecurity is doing. So talking about the goals, this is the three goals of cybersecurity are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let's see one by one quickly what is the work of all these three terms. So if I talk about the confidentiality, so confidentiality means those who are authorized. can see a particular information, and those who are unauthorized will not be able to see a particular information. So let's say you are working in a particular organization. So in your department, you only and the other person which is working in your department has the right to see that particular information which is related to your department, and no other third person can come and see that details, obviously, right? So this is actually confidentiality, that if you have one information and you are authorized to see that information, then only you can see that information. No other third person can see that information. Next, we have integrity. Let me give you a very simple example. There is one sender and the other person is a receiver. So sender is sending one message to the receiver, something, hi, how are you? So receiver shall also receive the same message. The message shall not be changed. The message meaning shall not be changed anyhow. So if it is not changed, the meaning remains same, the everything remains same, then integrity is also maintained. If the receiver received any other message instead of that message or any other meaning of that message, that means integrity is lost at that particular period of time. So this is integrity. So all in all, we can say that if we are talking about integrity, then whatever the data we have, it shall not be tampered anyhow. Next, we have availability. So let's suppose if you are an authorized person and if you need any sort of resources or if you need anything, so it should be readily available to you at that particular period of time. So this is simply availability. So all in all, cybersecurity works with these three goals in order to ensure that whatever data you have, whatever information you have is in secure hand. We can say that. Okay, let's move ahead. So this is the chart you can see here. This is a very, very interesting chart. I can say that. So here you can see what is actually happening around us in just under 60 seconds. So this is a chart which is showing that what is actually happening on the internet in just under 60 seconds, like 1 minute. So if I talk about the social media applications, then mostly people are using Facebook. So 1.4 million people are scrolling in just under 60 seconds, which is actually a very, very huge data. And if I talk about this particular WhatsApp and the Facebook Messenger, so we all are on WhatsApp, and I don't think so we can, live without using WhatsApp even for a day. So talking about Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, this is actually 69 million messages are sent in just under 60 seconds, which is actually a very huge data. And if I talk about, there is one application which is Snapchat. So we have 3.4 million snaps are created in just under 60 seconds. And everybody is recognized with this Netflix. So 28 thousand subscribers are watching in just under 60 seconds. And if I talked about normal text messages sent, so this is 21.1 million text messages are sent, in just under 1 minute. So all in all, the data is going on with all other, internet social media applications. So this is actually a very, very huge data. And just think that this much of data is, going on in just 60 seconds. Then what about other, time? What about, other seconds, or what about other hours? We can say that. So let's move ahead and see that how does Google track you? So this is a very, very interesting topic, and everybody asks that how Google knows everything about us so perfectly. So Google knows my dislikes, Google knows my likes. Mostly whatever I likes, Google shows me that okay, this is a product you are, looking for. So this actually asks a lot of people that how does it actually happens that Google knows so very well about us. So actually, the main reason of why Google is knowing everything about us is actually us. So we ourselves are we can say we ourselves are providing our information to the Google. Let's see how. So these are the few components through which Google is getting our information. First one is if you are using Chrome browser. So whatever the browser history you have saved in, whatever the website visited history you have in, if you do not download it, oh sorry, if you do not delete it on daily basis, then definitely Google will take information through that and will get to know that okay, this kind of website we visited on, what kind of things we do on this particular Chrome browser. And then we have next is YouTube. So everybody watches YouTube nowadays, and so what kind of videos we watched mostly and what kind of videos we uploaded, so this is how Google knows about it. And then we have Google Maps. So whenever we visit any location, right, so if our map location is on, it will automatically tracks, and if we search for some kind of places, then it will automatically basically save that information in this particular Google Map. And then we have one application that is Hangout, which is present mostly in Android applications. So what actually this application does is, once you open this application, it will ask you to make default in order to open all your contacts and open all your text messages. If you click OK, it will make default. Like whenever you next time you open your contacts, you will open it through this particular Hangout application. So it will basically copy all of your contacts. If you click on yes, it will copy all of your conversations on text messages. So this will straightly pass all the information to the Google. Next we have is photos applications. So there is one photo applications. So whenever we tag any sort of places, whenever we tag any people, so this will basically save our data. And there is one application which is calendar. So if we mark our upcoming plans and our upcoming appointments, so through that Google is getting information about us. And we have one Google search browser. So whatever the query you search on that, Google will take information from that. And everybody knows about Gmail. So whenever you share your contacts, whenever you basically save your contacts and in Gmail, and whatever the emails you sent, whatever the email you received. Next is shopping applications. So if you have registered your shopping applications from your Gmail account, definitely all of your information which is will be going on to the Google. And then whatever the ads you click on, which basically you see on internet, and if you visit any sort of websites to read anything or any sort of news websites, then it will also pass this information to the Google. So what we can do, we basically whenever we are done with our work, so at the end of the day, before shutting our desktop or before shutting our laptops, we need to make sure that whatever the browser history we have is actually deleted. Make sure you have deleted your cache. Make sure you have deleted your browser history. And if you are watching something on YouTube, then please make sure that you have clear your history on daily basis. So like this only, whenever you are done with your internet activity at the end of your day, you just clear all of your history. Next topic we have, this is a very interesting topic, and mostly people are not aware about this particular topic, that is digital footprints. So what actually is digital footprint? So digital footprint is a, we can say, is a trail of data you create while using the internet. So the moment you open the internet, you open your browser, and you do any stuff from small to big, it will basically um, basically save all of your data on the internet in one particular file from your name. So this is actually digital footprint. This is a trail of data you create while using the internet. So it will include, it will includes the websites you visit. So whatever the websites you will visit, it will basically save that. What kind of emails you send, it will save that. What kind of information you submit to online services, like if you are filling any sort of online form and you are providing the information in that form, it will save that. So these are the information, whatever you are doing on the internet will be saved on the internet. Second thing is, once you have given your information on the internet, you will not be able to delete it. Or in simple word, if I say, you will not be able to delete your digital footprints. It will remain for, permanent basis. You can delete that information from your laptops, from your mobile phones, from your desktops, but it is not possible to delete that information from internet. So it is very much essential for all of us nowadays that whatever we are putting on the internet, whatever we are posting on the internet, we need to make sure, we need to make think twice before posting anything over the internet, or before sharing anything over the internet. So uh, we need to make sure that what information we are sharing with others, and what can be the impact of that sharing thing in the future. So these things we need to make sure that uh, whenever we are using the internet, we need to think twice before doing anything over the internet, because everything is storing on the internet. Now, talking about digital footprints, we have two types of digital footprints. First one, we have the passive, and the other one we have is active. So if I talk about passive one, so a passive digital footprint is a data trail you unintentionally leave online. So let's suppose one day you open your browser and you visited any website. Okay, and in this particular period of time, you have shared your lot of information on the internet, but you are not aware. So you have shared your IP address, you have shared your internet service provider information, you have shared your location in this mean period, but you are not aware, okay, this information I have given to the internet. So this is actually passive digital footprint in which you are giving your information, but you are not aware that you are giving your information to the internet. Next one we have is active digital footprint. So in active digital footprints, you are actually giving your information to the internet, but intentionally we can say that you are aware that you are giving your information to the internet. Let me give you a very simple example. Whenever you are new to social media account, you just need to create your account, and while creating your account you need to provide your personal details like your name, your um, email address, sometimes your mobile number. Sometimes you have to provide your personal informations like in which school you have studied, in which college you have graduated, what you are currently doing right now, where you are working in the past, right? So these are the informations they ask, and we are giving our information to the social media applications. So this is how active digital footprints actually starts, that we are actually providing our information to these social media applications and we know about it. So this is actually active digital footprints. So be smart about what sites you are visiting, because everything is tracking, and what emails you open and what kind of links you click on. Everything is storing on the internet, whatever you are doing. So now the question arises how to preserve your digital footprints, or how to secure yourself from these kind of digital footprints. So always think long term before posting anything over anywhere. Avoid making virtual or online friends, because how can we trust that who is the person sitting behind that screen, right? And keep your personal information private. And if you basically receive any friend request on social media, then just go to different social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and just search for that person. If you find that person, and if the information is looking genuine of that person, definitely you can add it. But if the person is not making sense, then you can basically delete the friend request. Use privacy settings on social networking pages. Definitely, every social media application, or we can say every social networking application, is having different privacy settings. Please go there and try to analyze that what are those privacy settings, and just keep your personal information which is present on the internet private, so that no other person can misuse of that personal information. So protect your privacy and privacy of your friends, and have a time limit on time spent on social media. Just make sure that you spend your precious time with your family and friends instead of spending a lot of time on these social media applications. Now, let's see what are the primary threats to our device security. So, talking about device security, these are the threats related to viruses, worms, trojans, and spyware. So, let's one by one discuss what are the work of these threats and how these are actually working. So, let me talk about simple one, that is computer viruses. So, definitely a computer virus is a malicious software program that is loaded onto a user computer without the user knowledge and performs malicious action. So this is actually the work of a computer virus. And if I talk about computer worm, then a computer worm is a type of malware that spreads copies of itself from computer to computer. So a worm can replicate itself without any human interaction, but a worm basically doesn't need any sort of human interaction in order to spread. But virus need human interaction in order to spread, and it does not need to attach itself to a software program in order to cause any sort of damage. So viruses and worms are the software programs that will, copy your data, that will damage your data, or that can delete your data. Next we have is Trojan horse. So a Trojan horse is a type of malicious code, or we can say software, that will look genuine or that will look legitimate. You will think, okay, this is a genuine software. Let me just download it in my laptop. But once you download it, it will work as a basically in the background. It will take control of your system. It will basically damage your data. It can delete your data. It can steal your data. It can do harmful actions on your data or on your network. So this is actually the work of Trojans. And if I talk about spyware, so spyware basically steal your personal information. Spyware are a kind of software. Once you install in your device, it will track all your online activities. So let's suppose one day you receive an email that please click on the following link in order to activate free antivirus in your system. And you think, okay, this is a I'm getting free antivirus, let's click on this link, and you click that on that link, automatically spyware will automatically download in your system. Now you are not aware about the spyware thing, and the next thing, you go to your banking website and log in by using your user id and the password. Now this spyware can track your user id and the password of your bank account. So this can be a very very big threat if this can be tracked. So do not click or do not download anything from the unwanted links. Next we have is malvertising. So this is a term that which is actually getting very famous day by day. So let's see what actually is malvertising. So malvertising is an attack in which attackers will inject malicious code into legitimate online advertising networks. So what hackers are doing nowadays, hackers are just searching for the catching websites which looks so eye catching, and once they got that online advertisements, they just insert one malicious code under that advertisements through using different tools. So once the user visit the websites or any sort of thing on the internet, and when they see that advertisement, if they find that catchy, the user will click on that, and once the user will click on that, automatically malware will be downloaded into the user computer or the laptop. So this is actually malvertising, sending malware into your device through using advertisements. So this is actually how the malvertising is actually functioning. Now let's see what are the different cyber frauds which is happening nowadays. Nowadays, there we have seen a lot of increase in the cyber frauds during, especially in this uh, COVID-19 pandemic situation. We have seen a lot of increase in the cyber frauds. So we have seen a lot of increase in cyber attacks, tab nabbing attacks, identity theft attacks. Sometimes we also see we receive a lot of emails related to donation and the mass scams that please donate some money to the COVID-19 victims. And for donation, you have to click on the link and go through that link and fill all the details, stuff like that. So these are all the tactics and basically all the scams of hackers. So if you click on these kind of links which you receive on your email or any social media applications, definitely you can be a victim of the cyber frauds. Sometimes we also receive some kind of messages on our WhatsApp that if you want to win free mask, then please give your details on the particular link. So this is actually also a scam. And we have seen a lot of increase in ransomware attack and keylogger attack. So let's see one by one what actually uh, basically are the work of these cyber frauds, and how we can protect ourselves from these kind of cyber frauds. So firstly, I'll start with the identity theft. So identity theft is basically, we can say, the crime of obtaining the personal, or we can say, financial information of another person to use it, they to basically use their identity to commit any sort of fraud, such as making unauthorized transactions, or making unauthorized purchases. So this is actually identity theft. So the intent is to use that identity for any sort of personal gain, any sort of in order to defraud others. So, information often targeted by identity thieves includes your passwords, bank account details, credit card numbers, information stored on user computer, mobile phones, such as your contacts, videos, images, sensitive documents. So, if the attacker is going to perform identity theft with you, so he will focus on the passwords, on getting your passwords, on getting your account information, bank account information. He will focus on getting your credit card numbers and information stored on user mobile computer, just like your videos, images, any sort of personal information. So, how we can protect ourselves from the identity theft attack? You need to safeguard your personal information as much as you can, also your family personal information. Second is protect your passwords as much as you can. Never share your passwords with anyone, even with your family members. Never ever share your passwords with anyone. And B, credit debit card smart. You need to make sure that you check your monthly debit card and credit card details from your bank account, and destroy shared receipts which are not required. One thing we have seen most, like whenever people are using the ATMs, whenever they are done with the transactions, they just throw that transaction slip on the floor itself, and they just go outside of that ATM without throwing that slip on the dust in the dustbins. So this shall not be done. Whenever we are done with the transactions, we need to make sure that we do not throw the transaction slip on the floor, because ATM is accessible to all the people. So any person, any kind of person can visit that ATM and can take your slip, the transaction slip, and can take the details from that slip. So always try to make an habit that whenever you are done with the transactions, you just make sure that you just tear that slip, and you are shredding that slip and then throwing it in the dustbin, not on the floor. Next is review your records regularly, whether it is your related to your banks, whether it is related to any sort of financial information. You need to check your records regularly. Be cautious with phishing links. Do not click on any sort of links which you receive on your emails, on your you know uh, social media applications. And monitor your online accounts. So if you are having online accounts on social media applications, and if you are active on that on daily basis, then it is fine. But if you are not using those online accounts, then please try to delete those accounts, because we never uh, say that at what period of time your account can be hacked, because hackers are searching for these kind of accounts which basically are inactive for a longer period of time, and users are not accessing those accounts. So if you are not using those accounts, please try to deactivate those accounts. And be careful with public Wi-Fi. So whenever you are using public Wi-Fi, just do not provide your personal information. Do not access your personal information while using the public Wi-Fi, because in a similar way, we cannot say that who is the person sitting behind that public Wi-Fi. And we cannot say that one hacker is not sitting behind that Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, right? So never trust any public Wi-Fi. What to do if you are a victim of identity theft? You need to change your passwords as soon as possible and report it to police immediately, and contact your bank or any sort of financial institution. Next, we have cyber fraud is keylogger. So what actually are keylogger? Keylogger is a software or a hardware capable of recording inputs from a computer keyboard and intercepting keystrokes without the user knowledge. So if any sort of keylogger is installed in your device, so the next thing what it will do, whenever you are typing anything from your keyboard, it will basically store all that keystrokes in a particular file. So let's suppose you go into for logging into your banking website, and you type your user ID and the password. So it will also save that in a particular plain text format in a file. So this is the work of keylogger. Now we have two types of keylogger. First one we have is software, and the other one is hardware. Now the software one are the ones that will basically install in your device, and whenever you type something from your keyboard, it will monitor each keystroke and basically store it in a particular file in plain text format. Now talking about hardware, this is actually how the hardware keylogger looks like. The black small thing that you can see here, so this is actually a hardware keylogger. So where we mostly find these kind of keyloggers, we mostly find these kind of keyloggers in cyber cafes. I don't think so. We are mostly using cyber cafes, but whenever if we are in a particular need, we have to visit the cyber cafes, right? So before using any sort of cyber cafes, please try to check this kind of device, whether it is this kind of device is there in that particular computer or not. So this is actually how the hackers are doing cyber frauds by using this particular keylogger fraud. Next is a phishing attack. So phishing attack, everyone knows about it, and this is very famous attack. Mostly hackers are using this phishing attack tactic in order to fool people, in order to steal their personal information. So let's see what actually is phishing attack. So phishing is a cyber crime in which a target or targets, we can say one people or a lot of people, are contacted by email, are contacted by text messages, or we can say contacted by telephone also. So the other person will pretend that they are calling from a reputed organization, and they try to lure people. Basically they try to fool people that I'm calling from the reputed organization, and they will ask your personal information, like your banking information, like your credit card information, your financial information, or any sort of passwords. And if you uh, basically provide that information to the person, definitely you will be a victim of the phishing attack. Now here we have tried to write some examples of phishing websites in order to make a good we can say understanding thing. So here hackers are using these kind of fake phishing websites which look genuine like real websites. So this is actually written in big format, that is why we can detect that this is actually a phishing websites. But in actual websites, we basically forget to check the URL of the websites, and we basically do the things like itself. So here we have www.gmai1.com. So instead of L, the hackers are creating new phishing websites which is having same name related to gmail.com. So instead of ICICI bank.com, hackers are using 6 instead of B, which looks mostly similar like ICICIbank.com. And if we do not look carefully over the URL, definitely we can be a victim of these phishing websites. Then we have www.bankofindia.com. So instead of O, they have used zero, and instead of O, double O, they have used double zero in yahoo.com. So this is how the hackers are, creating fake phishing websites and fooling people. So let's see that how to identify these kind of fake phishing websites and can protect ourselves from these kind of phishing attacks. So for this particular method, we do not need any sort of tool. We just need to manually check whether that particular website is actually a phishing website or a genuine website. So let me take you to my browser and open one website. Then we will see that what are the steps in order to check whether the website is a phishing website or a fake website. Let me give a second in order to open my browser and share my browser. Yeah, I hope my browser is clearly visible to all the participants. So this is how we are going to check whether the website is actually a phishing website or a genuine website. So for that, I have opened the CDEC website. Okay. So firstly, what you have to look for whenever you are using any sort of website, firstly, you need to check whether the website is HTTPS secure or not. So here in my case, the website is fully HTTPS secure. Now, second thing, what I will check the spelling of the particular URL. So here, this is www.cdac.in. So I think everything is fine and nothing is looking fishy here. The URL is correct. The website is HTTPS secure. Now two things are done. Third thing, what we will do. Third thing, we need to check whether the website is having this particular small lock or not. What we call this lock? We call this lock as padlock. So we need to check on third point that the website is having this padlock or not. If the website is don't have any padlock, do not access that particular website. So if the website is having this particular padlock, just click on this padlock and here you can see connection is secure. And if I click more on this connection secure, you can see here you are securely connected to the website, certificate issued to this particular organization. Now I want to see more information. So I will click on the more information, and by clicking on more information, you can see the digital certificate of a particular organization. Now how? You need to click on this view certificate and just click on here. This is the digital certificate of the particular organization. So this is how you can check through particular by following particular points like 2 3 points. You can check whether the website is a fake website or phishing websites or actually a genuine website. So this is how I think this is pretty easy, and now you can check without using any sort of tools that whatever the websites you are having is actually you are actually using is secure or not. So let just come back to the particular PPT. So I think this is pretty easy, and we will now be able to find out that how to, you know, uh, differentiate between a genuine website and a phishing websites. So now from now onwards, if you basically receive any sort of link or any sort of website in your mail ID, or if you want to visit any website, firstly you need to check all these three checkpoints. Then only you basically do all your work. Now, next cyber fraud we are having is tab nabbing. So, what actually is tab nabbing? So, tab nabbing attack is kind of a phishing scam which can be done through your browser. So, if you have an habit of doing work with opening a lot of tabs, then please stop, because if you are doing these things, then you can definitely be a victim of this tab nabbing attack. I have attach few screenshots in order to explain this tab nabbing attack. Let's basically see how in steps we can explain this tab nabbing attack. So here there is one user whose name is Rahul. So Rahul is actually busy in accessing a lot of tabs in one time. So he has opened a lot of tabs like one eBay website. If you look at it carefully, I will read it for you if it is not visible. So the first tab he has opened is eBay website. The second tab he has opened is flipkart.com. And the third tab he has opened is Hindu Times, and the fourth tab is TechCrush. Fifth tab is Information Security Education Awareness Portal, and next tab is some banking website, and then some portal. So at one time he is actually accessing a lot of tabs, right? So what actually is happening is he was busy in accessing the eBay uh, website, in which one electronics and car page is open. Now, after some time, he was busy in accessing all the other tabs except the first tab. So, from particular period of time, he has not accessed the first tab, but it is opened in the browser. So, I would like to concentrate to all the participants. Please concentrate on the first tab only. So now it is showing electronics and the cars tab, but after few hours when the user is busy in accessing other websites, it will start connecting to some other website. Okay, so now when user basically after some time when user go back to the first page, he was not aware that what page he had opened. So he basically clicks on that first tab and he see that one Gmail page is opened. So he thought, okay, the page opened was of Gmail. Let's log in my Gmail and see what is actually happening on Gmail. So what he will do, he will just try to give his username and the password and straightly click to the sign in. What happens when he straightly clicks to the sign in? His username and the password will be straightly goes to the hacker, which basically is the main of tab nabbing goal of tab nabbing attack. So if you look at it carefully, the URL, this is actually gmai1.com. This is not gmail.com. So this is actually how hackers are sharing the phishing websites with you. They are injecting the phishing websites, or we can say phishing page with your website. And if you do not refresh the pages, then definitely you will be a victim of this tab nabbing attack. Now, how to prevent this particular tab nabbing attack? You need to refresh the browser after returning back from other tabs. First thing is refresh the browser. Second thing is do not open a lot of tabs, because what is the work? Just do not open, um, just do not do a lot of work while opening a lot of tabs. And check the URL correctness. You need to check the spelling of the URL and avoid financial transactions on any sort of tabbed browser. If you want to do any sort of financial transactions, you can use the private windows. Every browser has its private window. You can go there and do the financial transactions there only. This is actually really safe. Next cyber fraud we are having is ransomware attack. So what actually happening in ransomware attack? So ransomware attack, we can say, is kind of attack in which hacker will basically ask you some kind of money. Like ransomware is a type of we can say malware that will prevent, or we can say limits user from accessing their system, either by locking the system screen or by locking the user file. So until and unless you will not pay some money to the hacker, he will not provide you the key of the file, the key of your system, right? So this actually happens in ransomware attack. Now we have two type of ransomware attack. First one is crypto, second one is locker. So in crypto ransomware, basically if you are a victim of crypto ransomware, it will prevent you to access your personal files and data. It will lock. Sometimes we also click on some files and data, it will ask one key. So in this this basically shows that you are a victim of ransomware. So one mail will come to you and ask you some money, and he will write that if you give me this sort of ransom, then only I will give you the key to decrypt that file or the folder. So this actually happens in crypto ransomware. And talking about the locker ransomware, so in locker ransomware, the hacker will locks and shut down the entire computer or the entire screen, and you will not be able to use either anything. So this actually happens in locker ransomware. Next topic we have is password. So password is playing a very crucial role nowadays, and we need to protect our passwords as much as we can. And let's see how we can protect the passwords. So before studying that how we can protect the passwords, let's see what are the various techniques that are used by hackers in order to retrieve our passwords. So first techniques they are using is shoulder surfing. Let's suppose you are sitting on your office desktop and you are just trying to log in a particular website and you are trying to give your user ID and the password. So someone is standing behind your shoulder and looking at your screen. If you are not checking behind what's who is actually sitting or standing behind you, then definitely you can be a victim of shoulder surfing attack. Because if you work like this, then definitely anyone can see your passwords and whatever you are doing over your laptop, right? So before doing anything important, we need to make sure that is somebody sitting behind me or standing behind me is not looking at my screen. So this can be a tactic that hackers are actually using. Sometimes we are also using lifts, public lifts, and we start using our mobile phones before, looking. We do not basically think that who is the person standing behind me, or actually is somebody looking at my mobile phone screen. So this can be a big threat to related to passwords. Next is writing your passwords on papers. So if you are habitual to write your passwords or user ID on a sticky note and stick it on your desktops or stick it on your office table or anywhere, then please stop it, because anywhere any person and can visit that particular place or can see that particular information. Next is brute force attack. So basically what actually a brute force attack. So brute force attack involves guessing username and the passwords to gain unauthorized access to a system. So what a hacker will do, hacker will basically guess your username and the passwords. So if you are using weak passwords like your name, your mobile phone, or some people are still using passwords like ABCD12345, so this will leads to a big vulnerability related to your password. So the hacker can easily guess your passwords if you are using these kind of weak passwords. So stop using these kind of weak passwords. And next we have is dictionary attack. So if you think that you will take one difficult word from dictionary and you will use it as your password, definitely you are actually wrong. So what hackers are using nowadays, hackers are cracking all the dictionary words in just few minutes. How? There are few password cracking tools are there, which will basically scan each and every word of dictionary in few minutes. So if you are using these kind of words from dictionary, so definitely you are the one which whose password will become crack first. So stop using any words from dictionary, because these are more prone to hack. So do not write your passwords anywhere. Do not give your passwords anyone over phones, and do not send your passwords via emails. So what are the best practices to keep your password safe? Use a different passwords for each service. Now you will ask, how is this possible that we will use different passwords for each service? Because nowadays we are using a lot of accounts, right? So how is this possible to remember all of those passwords for different accounts? So we will discuss it in the next slide, that how you can use different passwords and strong password at one time for different accounts. So you need to use a long and the complex password. You need to change your passwords regularly and do not use your passwords on shared computer. And the last one we have use passphrase. So the first and the fifth point is relatable, that you need to use a different password for different service. How? Through passphrase. So let's see what actually is passphrase. So passphrase is basically taking your favorite sentence and creating one strong password from that sentence. So in my case, my favorite sentence is never judge a book by its cover. Now I will create a strong password with this particular sentence. So I have taken small n from never, I have taken small j from judge, and I have taken at sign from a because it looks so much similar, and it is more easy to become basically learn this particular password, or we can say remember this particular password. And I have taken 6 from b, like from book, and I have taken again 6 from by, and I have taken exclamatory sign from like I, the opposite of I is exclamation mark, and I have taken capital C from cover. So this is how my strong password is ready, and it is very difficult to crack because it has the letters, the numbers, the alphabets, everything is there. So you can also you can also create your own passphrase. You can just take your favorite sentence, because now it is very easy to remember my password. How? Because I just need to remember my sentence, not the uh, password. And if you are using your favorite sentence, then definitely you will basically remember that particular passphrase, or we can say particular sentence for like longer period. So you can also take your favorite sentence and create your passphrase from that particular sentence. Now you can take different sentences for different accounts, and you will be able to remember that passwords very easily. Now, talking about preventions, what we can do in order to, prevent ourselves. So, refresh the browser after returning back from other tabs and avoid any sort of phishing emails and questionable websites. And use private browsing. Definitely, every browser has private browsings. You need to go there if you want to do any sort of or access any sort of important information or do any sort of transactions. Always use updated antivirus software. Do not use free antivirus software. Nothing is freely available on the internet. Just remember this. And increase your browser security settings according to your uses and your requirements. And avoid financial transactions on tabbed browsers. Do not fall for ads that tempt you to downloading free software. As we had discussed, nothing is freely available on the internet. Always clear your cookies, cache history on daily basis. Disable auto connect when joining through networks, and never reuse passwords for Wi-Fi. Some people are still using their default Wi-Fi passwords and the username. So do not do these kind of things. Always make sure that you have changed your Wi-Fi passwords in like 1 or 2 months, and change the name of your default Wi-Fi network definitely. Disable your wireless home network when you are not at home. We can say switch it off. And do use two-factor authentication on everything possible. Now, what actually is two-factor authentication? Let's suppose I want to log in my Facebook account. Okay. So firstly, it will ask my username and my password. Now, the next thing, it will ask one OTP, which will basically comes on my mobile phone. When I give that OTP in that particular Facebook app, then only I will be able to log in the Facebook app. Otherwise, I will not be able to log in. So this is a very good practice in order to prevent your um, your account from any sort of attack. So a lot of social media applications are there which basically use this two-factor authentications. You just go to the settings of that social media applications, and there you will find enable two-factor authentications. So just make sure that you enable that two-factor authentication on everything possible. Do not install apps from third party, and record IMEI number. So IMEI is a 15-digit number. In case if your mobile number is actually stolen, this will be very much required for registering any sort of complaint, so that your mobile phone will be trackable. Never open email attachments with the file extensions such as VBS, SHS, and PIF. These are the kind of malwares that will come with the attachments. And never open web links in your email. Always type links in web browsers. Never download anything from email. And sometimes hackers are attaching the malware in the buttons. They are just attaching the buttons in different emails. And when we click on that buttons or any sort of attachments, the malware will automatically download in our system. And never send your photograph through emails to unknown persons. Check for spelling mistakes. Fake job offers mail generally have spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. And do not respond to spam mails without verification of email origin. So here in this particular session, we have only made to the conclusion that the only system which is truly secure is the one which is actually switched off and unplugged. So here we can say that the only way to be safe is to pay attention and is to act smart, definitely. So here the mantra of online safety is to pause and think before you connect to the internet so that you can secure yourself and so that you can definitely secure your nation. And thank you. Stay safe, stay secure, do your part, be cyber smart. So this was it for this particular session. If you have any queries, you can contact me on kajal@cdat.in. So thank you everyone. If you have any doubts, you can definitely ask me right now.
Okay, thank you, Kajal. And sir, ma'am, like if you have any doubts, can you please keep it in the chat area so that we'll try to address those queries. So as requested, like we have completed the session on time, exactly by 1. And if you have any queries, please keep it in the chat area so that we'll try to respond. Yeah, otherwise, thank you, Kazal, ma'am, for your wonderful and enlightening session. I think the session was very well, that's what, the session was very well explained and,
Thank you so much, sir.
nicely understood by maximum people. What about the data sent on WhatsApp? Okay, the one question is like, what about the data sent on WhatsApp and how is it secure?
So right now the data sent on WhatsApp is totally encrypted, and it is right now it's safe.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So any, I think the question is answered, Sharat Patkar.
The
Yeah.
main point is whatever the data we are having, we are basically sharing on the WhatsApp is actually safe. But whatever the links you are receiving on WhatsApp, like we are sometimes receiving any unwanted links from any companies on our WhatsApp. So they ask to click on the links, or they ask to fill the details through that link on the WhatsApp. So the main point is, do not provide your information through that link, or do not access any unwanted links that you receive on your WhatsApp chats. So this is the main point.
Okay. Even emails are encrypted. His question is emails are encrypted?
Basically it depends what kind of email service provider you are actually using, so it depends on that.
Okay. PPTs like we will share with you, sir. No issues. Then emails are okay, not much safe. No, no, emails. It is not like that, sir. Emails are also safe when if it is, if at all if you are using uh, authenticated email service providers, so those emails are safe. Well, like when the transmission is happening, it is safe. When you are saving them in a cloud area, then if it is a free cloud, then you have issues. Otherwise it is also safe. Government email IDs are 100% is safe, sir. Like NIC is taking care, and they have their they have their own servers. So all the geo at the rate go.in and go.in emails are 100% safe. But only thing is like if the retired people emails are inactive, So, or the people who are left the organization, and if their emails are not deactivated, then like we were seeing some kind of issues with such kind of email IDs. Otherwise, like what are the government email servers, and those are all safe only, not an issue at all. Okay, ma'am. And why there is no consolidated database for mobile IME in India? Yeah, Kazar ma'am, do you have any?
Yes, sir.
Why there
So
is
can
no
you repeat the
consolidated
question?
database for mobile IME in India?
Okay, sir. What we can say here is
Yeah. I'll just do. So
yeah.
Rajit Singh sir, actually like consolidated IME data is already available with the dot. So if the dot since that IME database is available with the dot, okay. So if something is happening also now you can find out how many mobiles are registered on your mobile number. All right. So if at all if you're not using the particular mobile number for a month's time, so earlier it is 3 months, 6 months they used to wait, but now that is not the case. If the mobile is not used, if the mobile number is not used continuously for 1 month, immediately they're disconnecting the messages, and you cannot call them also. So that unless and until you use it regularly, otherwise that mobiles are in deactivated mode. And if there is any complaint was given through devotee, and they're able to find out like where the sim they're able to find out found the details like where the sim is registered and all such kind of things. Now reasonably a maximum amount of data is available, but unfortunate thing is like now we are having the devices. By using those devices we can change the IME numbers also. See, for example, you lost the mobile in somewhere in a crowded area, but the people are able to change the IMEI number of the device. Right. So such kind of tools are also available. So that is the danger. But otherwise, like what are the new phones like which are legitimately purchased? So all those IMEI numbers and the devices which are purchased, I think at least like if the SIM card is belongs to India, or like within the India, like any ISP, they are able to have all these IMEI numbers. So that way, like we are able to manage that IME database, sir, so that we can track our last phones. You can track, sir. As in today, you can track the phones. But only thing is like as I'm telling you, like if the phone, now also you can go to any a cybercrime police station and you can give your mobile number. They're able to tell you exactly where the number is. But as a common man, you and me cannot do that. It is legally it's not viable. In a police station, if you go to any cybercrime police station, you can give a complaint with your mobile number, and if you have any IMEI number, like if you have that mobile box or if you invoice and you just go and raise a complaint at the cybercrime police station, they will be able to tell you like where the mobile is located. But the thing is like if the mobile is lost in Delhi and if it is found in Hyderabad, it is difficult to get the mobile back. Okay, so that's only the reason they are not able to take the complaints. But otherwise, their 100% tracking can be done in India. At this point of time, any lost in mobile phones can be 100% can be can be